protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community, and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community, and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Today's edition of the Megacast begins now. Welcome to the Megacast, our live local daily TV, radio, and streaming show looking into all things Michigan. Half of my face is Tyler Keefe. Today we'll be talking to a number of people about topics of interest and importance to Michiganders like you. Let's begin with what's making headlines today on CivicCenterTV.com's local news page. Our first article comes from Paul Egan at the Detroit Free Press. As we approach tonight's first gubernatorial debate between Republican Tudor Dixon and incumbent Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, polls are showing the gap between the candidates is getting a lot tighter. According to an Epic MRA poll out of Lansing, the governor is now leading by just 11 points. That's down from 16 points just a month ago. In addition, races such as the Attorney General and Secretary of State elections are also narrowing, with incumbent Attorney General Dana Nessel now leading by just 4 points over GOP challenger Matthew DePerno, and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson leading Christina Caramo, her Republican challenger, by just 10 points. That's down from 14 just a month ago. The top issue behind these shrinking gaps and changes in the incumbents' leads: inflation. Economic woes across the country due to inflation are becoming a nuisance for many Michigan voters, with Democratic leadership in Michigan and pointing fingers at Democratic President Joe Biden. The state of the economy come November may be the deciding factor in Michigan's future. Of course, that debate between Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Republican GOP challenger Tudor Dixon will be at 7 o'clock tonight. That is hosted by Wood TV 8 out of Grand Rapids. Find that debate in your local listings. I'm sure that there will be plenty of places for you to find that, both online and, of course, on your local channels that may or may not be picking that debate up tonight. 7 o'clock for that debate. The next one is October 25th. That is hosted by the Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland University in partnership with WXYZ Channel 7 out of Detroit. Also making headlines today from the Detroit News' Anna Lynn Nichols, as well as Mike Martindale. James and Jennifer Crumbly, the parents of the accused Oxford High School shooter, have appealed their case to the Michigan State Supreme Court, attempting to request a stay on their case, as well as some of the evidence submitted against them. The parents of the shooter face 4 involuntary manslaughter charges for the deaths of Hannah St. Juliana, Justin Schilling, Madison Baldwin, and Tate Meir at the hands of their son and by a gun that they owned. The Crumbly's attorneys argue that the parents had no reason to believe that their son was a threat to himself or to the public, and therefore they should not be held liable for the fact that he was. James and Jennifer Crumbly's lawyers placed the sole blame for the shooting, the injuries, the death and the trauma solely on their client's then 15-year-old, now 16-year-old son. Finally making headlines today on CivicCenterTV.com's local news page from Hannah McKay at the Detroit News. 2 drownings over the weekend pushed Michigan's total for the year over the century mark, now at a total of 101 drowning deaths in the Great Lakes in just these first 10 months of the year. 43 of those deaths have occurred in Lake Michigan alone. Quote, we've seen a lot more people who never intended to be in the water who end up in the water, said Bob, and close quote, said Bob Pratt, co-founder and executive director of the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project. The drowning deaths over the weekend both occurred as the deceased were kayaking and kite surfing. Experts say that the temperature of the water may also have played a key role in those deaths eventually occurring. All those headlines today on our website, CivicCenterTV.com, on our local news page, along with links to COVID-19 information from the Centers for Disease Control, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division. We have a great show ahead on this Thursday edition of the Megacast. Coming up next, we'll have our weekly mental health talk with Carrie Krawick from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. You're watching and listening to the Megacast. Stations all throughout the state of Michigan, as well as streaming networks. So you can find more programming about the Great Lakes state and more programming about your local area. So if you're from northern Oakland County, you can find Orion Neighborhood Television that joins us live to tape 5 days a week for the Megacast up in Lake Orion and Orion Township, and learn more about what they're doing over there. Find their football games as the Lake Orion Dragons take on many competitive opponents every Friday at Orion Neighborhood Television by clicking on our ONTV link on CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast. Our co-flagship for the Megacast is, of course, My Michigan TV. You can go to their website from our Megacast page at CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast. Find out all the information you need to know on their other original programming, such as Lato Live, that supersedes us at 11 o'clock, from 11 o'clock to noon, Monday through Friday at CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast, or by going to MyMyTV.com, MyMyTV.com, to find more information on My Michigan TV, all of their original programming, and of course, more information on how you can download their free apps for your smartphones and your smart TVs. All of that is on our website, CivicCenterTV.com, where you'll also find our live broadcasts of West Bloomfield Laker football each and every week. Now we'll take a break here on the Megacast. We apologize for the technical difficulties. When we come back, we'll have Carrie Krawick from the Birmingham Maple Clinic, and we'll talk about some mental health issues right here on the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabi Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live local daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Keefe. Learn more about our program on civiccentertv.com/Megacast, where you'll find all of our full shows and individual interviews on demand, as well as information on all of our partnering stations across the Great Lakes state. Joining us now for our weekly mental health talk is Carrie Krawick from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Carrie, appreciate you joining us again.
Of course. Good morning.
Glad to have you on with us. We are in the middle of OCD Awareness Week in 2022. The second week of October is OCD Awareness every single year. Obsessive compulsive disorder. It's something that is a term that's thrown around very often and very loose-handedly in a variety of different situations. But this is a serious, debilitating, often condition that people experience. So for those that don't know what OCD actually is, define it for us in layman's terms.
Oh, so you're right. We always use the term OCD. And the truth is we all have sort of OCD type behaviors. If you've ever left for a vacation and worried you left your oven on at home, that's sort of an example of what we would call sort of like an obsessive thought, right? So the difference between a regular person where maybe you go back and you check one time and just make sure it was off, or you don't go back and check it all and you just say, okay, that was a weird thought, is a person who's obsessive and compulsive cannot get rid of that thought. So it just repeats over and over and over with greater intensity, and they must then follow up with the compulsive behavior, which is going back to checking multiple times, never certainly believing that it's true, and so that's sort of the difference. So we all might think this way at times, but the difference between this and a disorder is the intensity with they feel the anxiety and stress, the repetition and the intensity with which they must follow through with a compulsive behavior to reduce their anxiety, is the difference between sort of our normal thoughts and fears and what makes it a disorder.
And so in terms of diagnosing this, at what point do those compulsions or those compulsive worries that we all have at some point in time, at what point does that change from being something that's just a normal occurrence that maybe is a little bit odd or off kilter for most people, to being something that is a chronic and sometimes debilitating condition that people really need to get formally diagnosed and formally treated?
Sure. So certainly if it's disrupting more and more of your day, if it takes an hour or more, say, for example, to leave the home because you've had to do your behaviors and you're checking so many times, that might be an example. If there's a situation with which you can't follow through with your compulsive behavior and you become under just tremendous distress, that would be sort of another example of, right, when it's reached an intensity that it's disruptive to your life, to your emotional state. Certainly when it's disruptive also to your family and the other people close to you, if it's putting your work in jeopardy, or if your family's saying, hey, look, this does not make sense, right? This is not rational. And now this is becoming disruptive to all of our lives, would all be examples of when it would rise to the threshold of needing treatment. Is treated both medically by psychiatrists with medication. There are also forms of therapy that are effective in treating OCD.
We're joined by Carrie Krawick from the Birmingham Maple Clinic on today's edition of the Megacast. BirminghamMaple.com for more information. BirminghamMaple.com is where you'll find more information. 1 in 40 adults in the U.S. affected by obsessive compulsive disorder. And this is OCD Awareness Week, the second week of October 2022. In terms of those solutions, Carrie, where do you and other mental health professionals start in addressing OCD and treating it in people that are affected in ways that it is, as you said, debilitating or really just very disruptive in their lives?
Sure. So I think one of the first steps, a great step is getting a proper psychological diagnostic evaluation. This can help rule out other things, say, for example, eating disorders, autism spectrum disorders, other things, other psychiatric illnesses that may cause some of those OCD behaviors, but not truly be OCD. So when you can rule out some of those other things or anything that's caused by medication or substance abuse or drug abuse, to rule out all of those. And then when you know what your diagnosis is OCD, it's probably a matter of preference. Some people prefer to take the medical route first. If they try a psychoactive medication and they get some reduction in their negative thoughts, then they may feel relief and they may not proceed with anything further. Others start with talk therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy or exposure therapies, which would be exposing yourself to something that is fearful to you, but then not being allowed to do your behavior. So, being exposed to dirt or germs, but not being allowed to wash your hands immediately, and those things to kind of retrain you to lower your fear to sort of a more rational level. So it's really probably a matter of preference, but often with psychiatric illnesses, tandem treatments, both medication and some form of therapy work the best than either does separately.
Again, more information to get in contact with the Birmingham Maple Clinic, including professionals such as Carrie Craywick with us on today's MegaCast, can be found at birminghammaple.com. birminghammaple.com is the website. In terms of effectiveness, how effective are these different treatment options and treatment strategies for obsessive compulsive disorder? And when someone does engage in some of these treatments, typically what are some of those changes that they experience? Because this is something that, as you said, it occurs naturally in people, but it also can be quite severe. So just how much does that change? I would imagine doesn't completely take away all these compulsions.
Sure. So I think part of it is like anything is starting sort of early before behaviors become more intense, more disruptive, more ingrained kind of, in our patterns of behaviors and more reinforced, right? So if recognizing a problem early and starting early is, of course, going to be the most cost-effective, time-effective way to intervene. In terms of effectiveness, they're, like I said, they're sort of a matter of preference and each person's sort of individual differences. Sometimes starting medication helps reduce the negative thoughts that precede those reactions and responses. And without those anymore, that there's no more need to follow through with the behaviors. Sometimes that isn't enough. So, doing something like talk therapy then becomes necessary to understand what are some of the underlying fears or some thoughts about uncertainty or maybe past traumas that cause a person to feel like they need to respond this way.
So who is at risk, or what are the risk factors, better yet, for obsessive compulsive disorder? Are there certain people that are more susceptible to this being an issue, or is this something that just kind of occurs as it occurs at random in person to person?
So it affects about 1% of Americans, like 1 in 40 people. It occurs across all ages and stages of life, and it can start early and end early and kind of go away. And anyone who's been around a child, you may see there are times in their life where they're sort of very particular about certain things, where things go, or which is one form of OCD, is being very particular about where the way in which things are organized. Another is about exposure to germs or contamination of some sort. Others are about like the checking, like we said, checking locks, checking stoves. So obviously at different ages and stages, some of the behaviors are normal, but when they go on beyond that stage, that would be an issue. Certain things, obviously, we've been exposed to, of course, a pandemic, right? So whereas once upon a time, people who were deeply concerned about infection may have considered, wow, that's really obsessive and not rational. But now during a pandemic, perhaps those thoughts and behaviors are allowed and acceptable. And then at what point do they become sort of more intense than what the situation calls for?
Again, more information to get in contact with the Birmingham Maple Clinic and talk to some of their professionals about obsessive compulsive disorder or other mental health conditions can be found at birminghammaple.com. birminghammaple.com is their website. Carrie, anything else for us on obsessive compulsive disorder or other mental health issues or risks that we should be considering at this time?
Sure. Like I said before, this is obsessive compulsive disorder is one form of anxiety. It takes a lot of different shapes. I think the way you started off today is that, we use the terms very casually, but they also are medical diagnoses, and kind of remembering that when we're reflecting them, like, are we stigmatizing certain behaviors by making lighter jokes of them? If we believe that we really have a problem, do we feel comfortable to say this perhaps is more than just, oh, silly, my quirky, I say OCD, but like, is this really a problem? And do I feel comfortable getting help based on it? I do think that we use these terms, like you said, very, very casually, but there is a lot of meaning involved, and it's okay if you do feel like you have those behaviors or they're disrupting you in some way to get them checked out.
More information, birminghammaple.com. You can also call them at 248-646-6659, 248-646-6659 with their location on West Big Beaver Road in Troy. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll take a break here on the MegaCast. On the other side, we'll level up with Lucy Hale at the Michigan Science Center. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going. Vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live local daily TV, radio, and streaming show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program by visiting civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on all of our partnering stations across the Great Lakes State, including My Michigan TV, and find all of our full shows and individual interviews on demand. That's civiccentertv.com/megacast. There's always plenty of fun happening at the Michigan Science Center, and as some exhibits move out, new ones move in, including their new exhibit called Level Up, another interactive experience coming to the Michigan Science Center. Joining us now to talk about that and more is Lucy Hale, the Chief Business Officer for the Michigan Science Center. Lucy, thanks for being with us again.
Oh, thanks so much, Tyler. It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. So Level Up is an exciting new traveling exhibit that's now coming to the Michigan Science Center. It begins in just under a week on October 19th. Tell us about Level Up and why people should be rushing to the Michigan Science Center next week in order to experience this.
Yeah, so Level Up is it's a prototype exhibit that we've put together in-house. It's actually one of the first exhibits we've organized ourselves in a long time. So that's been really exciting and fun for the team. And the exhibit is really focused on games and how we learn through play and how we learn through games and the gamification of learning. And we have a very special experience in Level Up that is there from October 19th through January 3rd, which was developed by Electric Playhouse and EDG Exhibits Development Group. And that is Electric Playhouse Travels. So it's a projection mapping digital interactive space. It's 2,500 square feet within the larger exhibit gallery, within the larger Level Up exhibit. And that is a really fun area. It's digital arena games. You become the controller. Your body becomes the controller in these spaces. So we're really hoping that everybody will come out and see it while it's with us through the end of the year.
That beginning again next week, Wednesday, October 19th, and is made possible with help from General Motors. And so, Lucy, tell us about that partnership with GM, because like you said, this is something that was organized in-house. The past few exhibits have been outside organizations that have partnered with the Michigan Science Center to bring those exhibits in and have them have a maintained stay. But this being different, what sort of help was provided from General Motors to make this possible at the Michigan Science Center?
Yeah, General Motors has been a wonderful partner of ours for a very long time, and they helped. They supported an exhibit we opened a couple of years ago, Earth, Wind, and Weather, and so this was sort of our next project with their support was Level Up. And the concept that we worked with GM on was for for our institution to be able to think about how we take the gamification of learning throughout the whole museum, and doing that with this prototype exhibit, so we could learn from this experience and think about how do we infuse our other exhibits and new exhibits we might develop that are more permanent with this concept of gamification. And GM was really supportive of that. Gamified learning is a really important way to build critical thinking skills, to build empathy, to build those design skills and creative thinking skills, which are all really important for STEM careers. And that's something that GM is critically interested in and really wants to ensure that we have a strong workforce here in Michigan. And so that for us, it was a natural connection with them.
So as the Michigan Science Center is planning this next exhibit, they're moving certain ones that have been there for a while out of the Michigan Science Center, preparing for something new to bring more people in or bring people back for some more interactive learning. What was the decision made, or how was the decision made to settle on this particular subject matter and this particular design of an exhibit for the next several months?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we say that we put you at the center of science, and we couldn't think of a better way to do that right now than through games, where you really become the central figure and player in a game that helps you learn about STEM concepts or STEM skills and helps you build them. And so as we were thinking about what the next thing was, this was a while ago, obviously, we went to GM many months ago with this concept. And so we've been planning it for a while, but we like to keep things under wraps. So, and, announce things as it gets closer to the date. That's sort of become a strategy of ours that has worked well to get folks excited about what we're bringing and for us to be able to focus on kind of the immediacy of what we have going on as well. And so, the team really thought about what could we do with the staff that we have and with some of our partners that we work with to help us, physically build some of these exhibits, the folks that we work with who are carpenters and electricians and that kind of stuff. And this exhibit kind of came together that way. It was a very natural evolution of, the skills that we have in-house and then our nearest and dearest that we work with in the community to help put things together. We also have some great partners nationally. Games for Change is a nonprofit that focuses on games that teach empathy and really focus on social issues. And so that was a great way for us to bring some games into our arcade zone of Level Up. And then, working with EDG, which is an exhibits group we've worked with for a while, to bring in Electric Playhouse Travels was a great connection as well for this exhibit in this space.
We're joined by Lucy Hill, the Chief Business Officer at the Michigan Science Center, on today's edition of the MegaCast. More information, mi-sci.org. That's mi-sci.org to find more information on different programs and exhibits such as Level Up, which begins next week, Wednesday, at the Michigan Science Center. What's interesting about this, too, is you mentioned that this is very interactive. It's all surrounding games. And when people think of interactive and games, they're mostly thinking about video games, certainly about VR gaming experiences. But there's also some more analog sort of gaming as well. You also have a big focus in Level Up is on board games as well. So why the focus there also to bring in those non-electric, non-video game sort of games to also tie into all this idea of gaming and STEM that's in the process of building these games?
Yeah, that's absolutely. So gaming, when you think about the games that we play, the physical act of playing the game is a really important learning experience. We call it embodied learning. And so some concepts, especially math concepts, kids really learn them well when their bodies are doing the work to help understand those concepts. So we thought including analog games, board games, and some giant games would be really important for those concepts to come across. So we have it's going to be like you walk into someone's kitchen and it's a bunch of kitchen tables that are set up with different games, and you can gather with your friends and your family or strangers that you meet in the hall and play games together. So we have games that are really kind of focused in educational content, but then also some games that are really, familiar, like Guess Who, which is one of my favorite games as a kid, but is really about memory and looking at fine details and remembering kind of what those are when you're playing that game. We also have some giant games in that area, Connect 4 and chess, and then a really cool for young learners little area for them that includes giant Tetris. So it's a really neat space. And we also included some optical illusion games. So folks might remember our Ames room. We brought our Ames room back upstairs. And that's a really cool optical illusion that helps people think about, really think about the world a little bit differently as they go into that space and then get to see themselves in it with their friends and understand that optical illusion.
Fun all begins at mi-sci.org. Michigan Science Center opening Level Up next week, Wednesday, October 19th at their location at the Michigan Science Center. Lucy, any other exciting programs or different events coming up at the Michigan Science Center we should be marking our calendars for?
Yeah, we've got a few things that are coming up for the end of the month. So it's sold out, but we're doing a trunk or treat for families in our parking lot. Our staff are really excited. Everybody's decorating their cars, and we're going to welcome our guests. And that's thanks to support from an anonymous funder, as well as the Girl Scouts of Southeast Michigan. So we're really excited about that trunk or treat day. That's on October 28th. But then on October 22nd, before that, we're doing a really fun After Dark for adults. And so that's a spooky science Halloween themed After Dark. Costumes are encouraged. It's going to be a really fun night. There's an awesome DJ coming. We've got laser Stranger Things in our IMAX theater. So folks are definitely going to want to check out the After Dark on October 22nd.
More information always can be found on Michigan Science Center programs, events, and exhibits at mi-sci.org. Lucy, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, and come on down to see Level Up.
And Level Up begins next week, Wednesday, at the Michigan Science Center. Again, more information, mi-sci.org. We'll take a break. On the other side. We'll talk about getting a little bit of exercise out in the community while having some fun on the dance floor. Evan Mountain from the Astaire Dance Studio joins us next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community, and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live local daily TV, radio, and streaming show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. You can learn more by visiting civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on all of our partnering stations across Michigan and find all of our full shows and individual interviews on demand. civiccentertv.com/megacast. With locations in West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills, there's plenty of fun to be had on the dance floor and a great workout as well. Joining us now is the owner of Fred Astaire Dance Studios, Evan Mountain, with us on the Megacast. Evan, thanks for being with us today.
Of course, Tyler. Thank you for having us on your program.
Appreciate having you on. Before we get into all the great things that people can get out of dancing, let's just talk a little bit about your studio. It's named the Fred Astaire Dance Studio. Your name, famously not Fred Astaire, it's Evan Mountain. But tell us about Fred Astaire and who he was, what he contributed to dancing.
Of course. So those that don't know who Fred Astaire is, Mr. Astaire was a very famous actor and dancer and singer back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and up until the 50s. He was considered the most entertaining person and replicated. His dance routines were very, very different. I mean, and people today still go after and look at his dancing. And he is the person that started our franchise, Mr. Fred Astaire. And we followed his lead per se. Now, you know, we focus on the quality of dance. We focus on the students that come in with us. He started the Fred Astaire Dance Studio franchise back in Manhattan in the 1940s. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary. And there are now 230 plus studios, Fred Astaire Dance Studios around the United States. So.
And Evan, from your side of things, how did you get involved with the Fred Astaire Dance Studio and with dancing in general? What brought you to it?
Well, I always enjoyed dancing. I was an athlete. I grew up in Southfield and I played different sports. I always enjoyed dancing though, but I didn't necessarily know how to partner dance. And so later in life, I started taking some partner dancing. My wife is the real ballroom dancer. She's from the Soviet Union. Ballroom danced over there. We're ballroom dancing over in the Soviet Union, Asia, Europe is a big sport. And so it was really her. I've always owned different businesses. And I told her at the time, I said, well, you don't need to work for somebody. We need to own a business and grow it that way. And so that's kind of how I got into it.
We're joined by Evan Mountain, the owner of Fred Astaire Dance Studio, joining us on today's edition of the Megacast. Locations in West Bloomfield as well as in Bloomfield Hills. More information can be found at fredastaire.com. That's FredAstaire.com. Fredastaire.com for more information. Have you seen in recent years, at least in the last couple of decades, or however long you've been involved with the studio, that there's been some sort of benefit for in terms of interest from different TV shows and other entertainment that we've seen, such as Dancing with the Stars, to gauge that interest and build that interest in dancing?
Well, absolutely, Tyler. We opened our studio 17 years ago, the first year that Dancing with the Stars started. And we've seen growth ever since. There's all kinds of different dance movies that have come out. And if you watch, you see some of the advertising, they're showing people dancing, and it's used a lot of different places. Matter of fact, this morning, I just got word that there's a new dance movie that's going to be shot this year using some of our wheelchair dancers. We teach a wheelchair dance program. So the interest, the desire, the growth of ballroom dance has gone on and on. Since the pandemic, we've just had a flood of people coming to our studios wanting to dance because of all the benefits that dancing offers.
And so who is a typical dance student that you see come into your studio? So usually, a mix between 50-50 men, women? Is it usually couples? What's your typical clientele?
Well, so the mix is actually 50%, maybe a little more than 50% single people. And when it's single, it could be a married person whose spouse or significant other doesn't want to dance. But usually a little over 50% of the people that come into our studio will want to learn how to dance. For the benefits, the social benefits, the physical benefits. We have couples that come in too. The other 50% are couples that come in. It could be somebody wanting to learn their wedding dance, their first dance for their wedding, or it could be couples that want to reconnect. Maybe they're empty nesters now and they want to reconnect through dancing, finding that is something they can do together. So, and we have age-wise, we have students as young as 8 years old. Now that's, not as many. Most of our students are usually in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and above that come in and dance.
And what about what do you say for those prospective students or people that may be interested in dance, but they have those stereotypical 2 left feet, or they're like me, they got one move, like I can shimmy a little bit, and that's about it. What do you say to students like that?
Well, you know what? Dancing is just something you have to learn the skill set and learn the fundamentals, okay? Most of us have never learned how to social dance. And so it's like anything. If you want to learn a second language, if you want to learn to play a musical instrument, or if you want to do any kind of sport, you have to practice it and learn the basics of it. And that's generally what we do. People come in all the time, they've never danced, or they dance, but like you, just doing a shimmy. So they come into our studio and we start to show them a little bit more of what to do and how to do it. We make it a very simple, fun way to learn. There's a process how we take a student who's just can shimmy to feeling very comfortable on the dance floor in a social dance. So
more information can be found on their website. Shimmy on over to fredastaire.com. That is fredastaire.com for more information. Of course, again, their locations in West Bloomfield and in Bloomfield Hills. Where in these 2 different municipalities are you located?
Well, the Bloomfield Hills studio is on Franklin Road, just north of Square Lake, and that's the studio I'm in right now. We also have our studio in West Bloomfield that is at Walnut and Drake. And we've also opened up another studio in Oakland County in Clarkston. So that's on maybe near Sashabaw Road. And the plan is, so we have actually 4 studios in southeastern Michigan, the other one being in Ann Arbor. But the plan is to have 6 in Oakland County. The other locations we're looking at opening up would be Rochester, Novi, and over in Royal Oak, Clawson area. So
more information again can be found at fredastaire.com/Bloomfield Hills or fredastaire.com/West Bloomfield. And Evan, I understand you also I've seen some dancers in the background for those that are watching us on our TV or our streaming feed. For those on the radio, civiccentertv.com/megacast to find this on demand and watch them. And it's interesting to see them take those classes and dance a little bit in the background.
Yes. So those are 2 of my instructors that have just arrived, champion dancers from the Philippines, and they're just demonstrating some dances. They're going to be performing Friday night here at our studio at our dance party. And so they're champion dancers from the Philippines, and they've competed all over Asia in one competition. So I thought, we'll have them. They're just doing their practice moves right now, working on some things for their Friday night performance. So.
More information can be found on fredastaire.com. Their locations in Bloomfield Hills, West Bloomfield, and now in Clarkston. fredastaire.com/West-Bloomfield or Bloomfield-Hills for more information, or give them a call at the West Bloomfield location, 248-562-7292, 248-562-7292. For more information. And there's other variety of different kinds of dance that you teach. Of course, ballroom dancing is a very general term, but there's plenty of different kinds of dance even beyond ballroom. What can they learn at the Fred Astaire studio?
So it is a little confusing for people to understand what is ballroom dancing. So ballroom dancing, basically, I explain to people, it's any types of social dancing. It's what you would see on Dancing with the Stars. So it can be swing dancing, it can be tangos, it can be salsa, it can be cha-chas and rumbas and foxtrots and on and on. There's probably about 20 different dance styles that we teach at our studios. So, and my instructors are all certified in order to teach all these different dance styles. So, and again, our system is set up so that it becomes very easy and fun for somebody to learn, even if they only know how to shimmy and maybe feel a little awkward on the dance floor.
We're joined by Evan Mountain, the Fred Astaire Dance Studios Michigan area developer and owner, joining us on today's edition of the Megacast. Evan, we'll give you a moment so you can move on over to the dancers. We'll see that a little bit closer. We know that you'd like to show us some of that in action as they're dancing there. And again, he mentioned they got their dance show coming up. You can find more information, fredastaire.com. Their locations in West Bloomfield, in Bloomfield Hills, and also in Clarkston. More information, once again, fredastaire.com. You can also call them, 248-562-7292, 248-562-7292. 8292 for more information. Of course, that phone number is their West Bloomfield location. Check online for more information on contacting directly their studios in your local area. Let's take a look at some of the dancers here from Fred Astaire Studio. Again, you can watch this online if you're listening on the radio at civiccentertv.com/megacast. Evan.
Yes. So they are not, we don't have music on because we didn't want to interrupt, but they're just performing. This is Jed and Rose, and they will be performing Friday night. Sorry, I'm kind of holding this. They're going to be performing Friday night at our studio. And if any of your viewers are interested in coming to see them perform, all they need to do is call our Bloomfield Hills studio at 248-454-1715 and just let them know that you'd like to come into our party. So, and see the performance and see how we teach at our studios. And that's this Friday evening, yes.
And of course, that dance performance, again, that phone number, it's going to be at the Bloomfield Hills location, 248-454-1715, as Evan said, 248-454-1715. Evan, any other lasting messages for people that may be interested in learning to dance or inquiring about dance lessons at Fred Astaire Dance Studios, or anything else fun that you have coming up beyond, of course, this upcoming dance show?
Got all kinds of different activities that we do, dance parties and group lessons and things that we do all the time. But, you know, we started to talk about the benefits of dance, and physical benefit is one of the most obvious benefits somebody has, but it's the social benefits too, is also another big thing. You're connecting with people that you might not have known before in a very safe environment. And there's also cognitive benefits. They've shown that ballroom dancing is one of the best activities somebody can do to prevent or offset potential dementia and cognitive loss. So there's a lot of benefits people don't realize besides just the exercise and the physical part. So.
Yeah, plenty of benefits. You can get some of those benefits by going to fredastaire.com/Bloomfield-Hills, fredastaire.com/West-Bloomfield. And of course, their upcoming dance performance that we've seen the practicing behind Evan today, 248-454-1715. That is at their Bloomfield Hills location, 248-454-1715. Evan, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, Tyler, thank you for having us.
Appreciate having you on. Again, their website, fredastaire.com/Bloomfield-Hills. For more information, go ahead, give them a call and let them know you'd like to come to their dance performance coming up soon. And again, 248-454-1715. That will do it for this Thursday edition of the Megacast. Of course, you can find all of our full shows and individual interviews on demand, usually mid to late afternoon on the day of at civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Also find where we're airing in your local area on a variety of different TV, radio, and streaming outlets on our Megacast page at civiccentertv.com. While you're over there, click on our local news page as well for up-to-date information on COVID-19 from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division on our local news page, and news articles from across the state of Michigan on topics about COVID-19 and beyond. Just below that, click through, read those articles, their supporting materials, and of course, if you have the means to do so, we highly encourage you to subscribe to those publications and support journalism in your local area. Big thank you as well to our crew, Calvin Brown and Jared Clark at the office of My Michigan TV, as well as our producer, Larry Nyland. That's our Thursday edition of the Megacast. We'll return soon with a new episode.
This is My Michigan TV. Around here, we just call it My. This is My Michigan TV, a unique news streaming television network. To watch, simply add our app to your smartphone or smart TV. You can also watch online at mymytv.com. My Michigan TV, my.